The Denver Broncos are about to be a serious problem for the rest of the league, and ironically, they've got a problem of their own, a good one. This roster is overflowing with talent. For the first time since that glorious Super Bowl run nearly a decade ago, this team is so stacked that trimming it down to 53 players feels like an impossible puzzle. Think about it. Last season, this squad looked like a legit playoff threat. Then they attacked free agency like predators and crushed the draft with picks that left analysts nodding in approval. Now, there's simply not enough room for everyone who deserves to wear that Broncos jersey. Let's be honest, cutting players this year is going to hurt. We've seen it before. Imagine how much smoother last season could have been if Tim Patrick hadn't been missing when depth was tested, or if key injuries hadn't forced rookies into brutal situations. This year, those hard decisions are back on the table, and they sting even more because the talent pool is deeper than ever. But hey, not every problem is bad. Denver has a secret weapon, their punter. This guy has a cannon strapped to his hip, and thanks to a clever roster loophole, he doesn't count against the 53-man limit. That means an extra spot for someone who might have been on the bubble. Little edges like this matter when you're chasing greatness. However, a bigger headache just rolled in, the backfield. Bringing in J.K. Dobbins was a huge win. He's explosive, he's hungry, and he's ready to remind the league why he's special. But adding him to an already loaded running back room means someone talented has to go. And let's face it, carrying 5 backs just doesn't work in today's NFL. And the quarterback room, it's getting spicy too. The plan was to keep 2. Simple. But now Sam Ehlinger is out here turning heads in camp and building real chemistry inside that locker room. He's bonding with Bo Nix and becoming the guy everyone wants around. That's great for the culture, but when it's time to make cuts, it complicates everything. These are the problems contenders face. Too much talent, not enough slots. And for the Broncos, that's a sign of just how far they've come. This fall, the Mile High is ready to roar again. The roster battles will be brutal, but that's the cost of building a team strong enough to chase another championship. And Broncos country, buckle up. It's going to be one wild ride. Sometimes you wish Bo Nix would find a buddy outside the quarterback room, just so this team doesn't have to burn a precious roster spot on a third signal caller. Realistically, what are the odds Denver ends up needing a third quarterback in a game? If disaster strikes and both Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix go down, put Courtland Sutton under center. Heck, let R.J. Harvey run Wildcat. He's done it before. Don't get it twisted. Sam Ehlinger is a stand-up guy and a great presence in the locker room. He even helped recruit J.K. Dobbins to Denver, and Dobbins himself said so. But carrying 3 quarterbacks when this roster is bursting at the seams, that's costly. Keeping Ehlinger could mean sacrificing depth where it really matters, like the defensive front or that nasty edge rusher group. Nobody wants to see a promising talent like Drew Sanders pushed out the door just to make room for an extra QB who might never see the field. Then there's the big picture. With this much depth, Denver has options. They could flip players for draft picks or trade for salary cap relief. Some names are already swirling around the rumor mill. One player drawing attention is John Franklin Myers. Word from camp is he's been a nightmare for offensive lines. Always in the backfield, always talking that talk. He's legit. But look at the defensive line depth chart. Dandre Tillman finished last season on fire. Savon Jones is wrecking plays left and right in camp. Zach Allen needs to get paid. And the unit's deep enough that moving a big name like Franklin Myers might just be smart business. It frees up cap room and gets Denver assets for the future. And then there's the emotional one, Courtland Sutton. Trading him would hurt. He's been a steady force for years. But here's the reality. Devin is shaping up to be the next big-bodied wideout in town. He's added muscle, he's catching everything, and he's hungry to prove he can be that WR1 prototype Sutton's been for so long. If the front office believes in the youth movement, moving Sutton might clear the way. And the books. Bottom line, this roster crunch is real. The Broncos can't keep everyone, even if they'd love to. But it's the kind of problem only real contenders have, and Broncos country wouldn't have it any other way. There's a lot of chatter about moving on from Courtland Sutton, but let's be real. That wouldn't be easy for this locker room or this fan base. Sutton's story is about loyalty and toughness. While other stars pout over contracts or stir up drama, Sutton's been a pro. He showed up all offseason, supported Bo Nix at Nuggets and Avi's games, and never acted like a diva. even when the front office handed out bigger checks to other receivers. After seeing him stick it out through the chaos of the Russell Wilson trade, it's hard not to root for him to stay in orange and blue. But football is a brutal business. If Pat Bryant keeps turning heads and playing beyond expectations, Denver might have to face a tough truth. You can't pay everyone forever. Trading Sutton would clear cap space and open doors for the next generation. It'd hurt, but sometimes contenders make those painful calls to build for the long haul. Then there's the edge rush situation. Denver's pass rushing stable has been loaded for years. Remember when they moved on from Baron Browning just because there weren't enough snaps to go around? It's the same problem now. There's only so much playing time, and if this defense lives up to the hype, opponents will be punting more and staying on the field less, which means even fewer snaps to split among hungry pass rushers. One name fans keep hearing in trade rumors, Jonathan Cooper. He's a force, no question, but the Broncos have reinforcements waiting. Jonah Ellis might be the most underrated young pass rusher in the league. People forget, last season he quietly produced 5 sacks while battling injuries, and his family later confirmed how banged up he really was. He's just 21, the youngest player in NFL history to post those kinds of numbers at that age. Add in Q Robinson, who's wrecking offensive lines in camp like it's nothing, and suddenly moving Cooper doesn't sound so crazy. At the end of the day, Denver's roster is built for big dreams and hard choices. Cutting fan favorites, trading big names, that's the price of chasing championships. Broncos country knows this pain, but also knows it's worth it when that Lombardi is back in Mile High. One name turning more heads than anyone right now? Q Robinson. Every report out of OTAs, every leaked clip, they all say the same thing. This kid is for real. Last year in college, he quietly posted the 4th highest pass rush win rate in the entire nation, winning nearly 1 out of every 4 pass rush snaps. That's freak territory. The only reason he didn't hear his name called in the first round? He played behind 2 first-round studs, and injuries stole his spotlight when it was finally his turn to dominate. But none of that matters now. He's healthy, he's hungry, and the raw talent jumps off the screen. Watch his highlights and try not to get goosebumps picturing him in orange and blue on a crisp Mile High Sunday. Add Robinson to a loaded edge room that already includes Benito, Jonah Ellis, and Dandre Tillman, and you've got a nightmare for any offensive line. Denver's front 7 could be one of the nastiest in the league if this group stays healthy and hits their ceiling. But here's where it gets tricky. Keeping all this talent means hard choices. If the Broncos decide to keep 3 quarterbacks just to have that tight-knit vibe in the QB room, then someone on this monster defense is getting cut or traded. That's the reality. Great teams sacrifice good players for the greater good. So Broncos country, buckle up. Training camp is only weeks away, and the roster battles are going to be fierce. Some beloved names might not make the final 53. It's going to sting, but when the dust settles, this squad could be more dangerous than it's been in years. Stay ready, stay loud, and never stop believing. This is the Denver Broncos, and we're coming.